Hey guys, Chad Smith here, just warming up for my squat session today. I'm using my Compex device, as you can see there. I have it hooked up to my giant white legs using the pre-warm-up setting. So Compex is something I use sometimes multiple times a day, but pretty much every day of the week, whether it's for warm-up or for active recovery, extra strength sessions, massage, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, EMS protocols like you can do with the Compex, I think are really valuable to your training. The one I have, I was fortunate enough to get from a client for a very steep discount, but they're very helpful. So look for an article talking more about those soon. So these are the knee wraps that I've been using the last couple of weeks. They're Elite Fitness Carrot. I don't remember exactly what they're called. This is only my third time wearing these. I'm not in love with them at this point. I think they provide more stopping power than rebound. But to squat 905, I was wearing just 3-meter APT wraps that Brian Carroll loaned to me. As far as wrapping technique goes, I wrap my own in training all the time. I don't know that it's exactly consistent from set to set all the time, but it is what it is. I've had 4 different people wrap my knees at 4 different competitions, but I'll link up a video of how Tony Garland, who trains with Brian, wrapped my knees for Power Station Pro-Am last year. I squatted 905. Yeah, these reps right now, at least for me, are just really stiff, and they're hard to put on by yourself. But I think maybe they just need to be broken in some more. As far as when to put your wraps on, I usually just put it on for the top set of each training session, maybe one warm-up set plus the top set. And then as far as when you should put wraps on, like if you're squatting 2 times body weight or 3 times body weight or whatever it is, I don't think there's really any guideline for that. I'm putting these on purely for the performance benefit of them, not for the safety aspect at all. I don't even know that they actually provide any extra safety. I think when you start going real heavy, I think they put more pressure on your knee. But if you're going to squat with wraps, you probably want to put them on at least once every other week. If you're not going to compete in wraps, you don't need to wear them at all. And if you're wearing them just for the performance benefit, or rather just for a safety benefit, you'd probably be just as well off getting some reband knee sleeves. So that's kind of my knee wrap spiel. Hey guys, just finished up my squat training for the day. Gonna get to some of that Q&A stuff. So main question that I had a lot of were assistance exercises for the squat. So I break my stuff up into supplementary work and assistance work. Supplementary work I'm defining as variations of the exercise, and then assistance work would be more like a general exercise. So my definite go-to supplementary exercise for the squat is the dead squat, which there's clips of that in here. Dead squat you're going to always do for singles. I'll go pretty high volume on those, up to maybe 10 or 12 singles on real short rest periods. Almost every raw squatter is going to have the same issue, and that's getting stuck in the hole. And dead squats I think are the best way to bring that up. If you don't have a power rack, pause squats, will provide a similar effect. They're not quite as effective, but anyone can do pause squats. I do dead squats with the safety squat bar for two reasons. One, I can't get under the bar like that in the bottom position. I just don't have the mobility in my shoulders to do that. And two, the safety squat bar, it's trying to pitch you forward, and you really got to fight against that. That's the other main supplementary work that I'd suggest would be squats with the safety squat bar, because if your issue isn't getting stuck in the hole, it's most likely falling forward. And the safety squat bar is going to try and pitch you forward like that. So you really got to build up your upper back strength and be very conscious of pushing your head back into the bar to fix that. So I just kind of kill two birds with one stone there and do dead squats with the safety squat bar. As far as accessory work goes, I honestly don't do that much, but stuff that's worked well for me in the past are just basics: GHRs, walking lunges, and barbell step-ups. I'll also do some single leg dumbbell RDLs. If you have any kind of balance issues or shifting issues, I think that's a good exercise to choose. Let's see, other stuff. I had a question about what I thought was strong enough in terms of athletes, or whether I thought there was such a thing as strong enough. And yes, there definitely is. I experienced that for myself in my own training when I was throwing the shot put. I think my senior year of college or first year out of college, probably squatted about 700 or 725, and I could squat 150 or 200 pounds more than guys who were throwing the shot put in the Olympics. And I got caught up too much in chasing the weight room number instead of putting the attention where it needed to be in the ring and on more special strength exercises. So yeah, there's definitely a point of diminishing returns for the squat and for athletes, throwers, role players, wrestlers, MMA, whatever it is. The question about the front squat and its use in the athletic population, and also its use as an assistance movement to build your raw squat. Athletic population, it's fine. I don't really think it matters. Front squat, back squat, box squat. There's such a small difference in degree of transfer between each one of those to whatever sport it is, as long as we're not talking the sport of strongman, powerlifting, or Olympic lifting. So I just, you have your athletes do all of them. Just develop that well-rounded strength, and then as they become more advanced, you're going to want to only use one of them, because changing exercises more often, it's more likely that you're going to induce soreness with that, and that's going to interfere with their ability to practice or sprint or jump or do things that have a lot higher transfer to their sports performance. As far as using the front squat to build the raw squat, I think it could definitely have its place as a supplementary movement. If you don't have access to a safety squat bar, front squat's the next best option there. It's going to force you to really stay upright and build your upper back strength. So when I'm talking about the supplementary moves, how I structure my squat training is I go up to a top set, I put my knee wraps on, go up to a top heavy set, then I'll do some speed sets, back down from that, and then I'll do 1 or 2 or 3 supplementary exercises. So I do a dead squat. Maybe a front squat's going to be a good choice for you. If you do choose to use it, I would try and do it for at least a minimum of 3 weeks. More ideally through like a 12-week training cycle, like 3 weeks on, 1 week deload, 3 weeks on, deload, 3 weeks on, deload. And if you were going to do it in that sense, I would probably do maybe sets of 8 for the first 3 weeks, sets of 6 for the second 3 weeks, and then those last 3 weeks when you go a set of 5, sets of 5 the first week, sets of 4 the second week, sets of 3 the third week. So the way I'm trying to structure the training is I'm building up volume for 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks of a meet training cycle, and then from there dropping the volume off. So my main work, I'll do sets of 3. Supplementary work is sets of 4 on my back down sets of squats. Dead squats are always singles, but I'll go up to maybe 12 sets. And then from that peak of the volume, everything else is coming down from there. So I'll start doing doubles and then triples as the back down sets, and come from 12 singles of the dead squats down to like 8, 6, 4, and then again drop the volume even more. Start doing singles as the main work, doubles with the back down sets, and then we're just down into like 4, 3. The bigger pool of volume you can create early on in your training cycle, the more flexibility that'll give you to draw from it. So if you don't build up volume at some point in your training, you have no way to peak because you don't have anything to take away from. So you got to make sure to build a good base of volume early on in a training cycle or at some point in the training year. I talked about consolidation of the stressors. That was mostly a sports training idea, but the same thing applies to powerlifting, Olympic lifting, strongman. You gotta give yourself flexibility. You gotta be able to draw from somewhere. You gotta have stuff that you can take away in your training, because you can't just keep adding stuff as means get intensified. Had a lot of questions about sitting back on your heels, teaching people how to do that. I think the best way to do that is really just, to think about it. First off, you just got to be very conscious of it when you're doing your warm-up sets, when you're doing back down sets, any kind of sub-maximal work. Sub-maximal work is the time to learn technique. So, treat an empty bar the same way that you would treat your max from a technique standpoint. Otherwise, you're just wasting time with those sets. So you got to, it's hard for me to give technique advice on a video, because the same thing that works for me isn't going to work for you, and the same thing that works for you isn't going to work for your training partner. Everyone's leverages are unique, so everyone's technique is going to be unique. So you got to figure out what works the best for you. I've been criticized before because I joke around and say that I just bend my knees and stand up, but I think really a lot of people, they overcomplicate this stuff, and really all it is bending your knees and standing up, and there's more to it than that. But you get a good program, get technique that works for you, and work hard at it. It's going to work. And I think too many people are losing sight of just that hard work, and they want this technique fix or a perfect program or whatever it is. But there's no substitute for hard work, so you got to make sure you're taking care of business in that end. But a drill that will help you sit back better, I just learned it the other day from Molly Galbraith. It's called a lumberjack squat. Lumberjack squat, you would use like a, what the hell is it called? Like a grappler or a landmine unit, and you'll have the bar set in front right here, and you could do this with one bar, or a stronger athlete, you might want to do it with 2 bars. But obviously the path of the bar is fixed here, so as I'm going to squat with this, the only option is to sit back, because you can't break at the knees first, because then the bar is just going to hit you in the face. So lumberjack squat forces you to sit back. And then as far as addressing hip mobility issues, you want to do that in your warm-up. Real simple drills, stuff that I use are just fire hydrants, just straight up to the side, forward and backward hip circles. Just draw in a circle with your knee. And those are the 2 basic ones that I do. Another one that's going to help a lot of people out, and why a lot of people have get that anterior pelvic tilt, is tightness in the piriformis. Stretch that out. Just going to kind of sit, fold your front leg at a point like this, and just lay over the front leg. That'll help break up any tightness in the piriformis. Also, getting a lacrosse ball or golf ball, working that in there. Make sure you're doing all your self-mount, fascial release, foam rolling, and all that good stuff. But just make sure you're not overthinking this stuff. Put the bar on your back, bend your knees, stand up, work hard at it. It should go well for you. All right, thank you. Hey guys, there's one question I didn't get to cover. I forgot to talk about after my training session today, and that was squatting and deadlifting in the same session. There's so many different ways that you can organize your training plan. One is not necessarily better than the other, but I've had a lot of success recently squatting and deadlifting in the same session. I alternate each week. I'll go heavy on one, and then for reps on the other one. That allows my second lower body day in my week to be for that's my event day, which is a very lower body dominant day. So I think that kind of organization works well. You could squat and deadlift on the same day. If you're competing in strongman, the second lower body day could be your events day. You just have one lower body day per week. And if you're going to do that, you want to go heavy on one, either squat or deadlift one week, and then the next and then do the other one either for reps or for speed. And then next week switch that around. The other way that I've been real successful is by extending my training week into what I call a 9-day work week, which is an ebook that Josh Bryant and I have said is going to come out for like the last year, but we really do plan to come out with it this November, definitely by Christmas. I promise you by Christmas. And all that really is instead of being confined to a normal 7-day week, we just added 2 days to the training week. So the week sets up as deadlift, off, bench, then a all back and abs day, off, squat, second bench day, off. So just adding those 2 extra days to the week, and so would be deadlifting on day 1 and squatting on day 6 instead of how I set it up before, where I was deadlifting on 1, squatting on 5, adding that 1 extra day of rest, and then the 2 extra days of rest after it, allow me to go heavy on both each week, and had a lot of success with that. So going both on the same day can work great. So where you go heavy on one and do the other one either for reps or for speed, or I think it's a really good idea to think about extending your training week. There's no reason for you to be confined to just a 7-day calendar week because that's what the calendar says. That doesn't mean that that's how you have to train. And obviously the stronger you get, the more emphasis needs to be put on recovery and the longer time you're going to need in between heavy sessions. So hopefully that answers that question for you.